Duval, what's going on? It's your boy Ruben. It's been a minute. And how much do y'all miss football season? Because there isn't a lot to talk about. This free agency wasn't one of the better free agency periods that in recent memory, because there just hasn't been that many hot names. You got OBJ in there, but is he really what he used to be? And truth be told, it doesn't really matter because unlike in the past, we don't have that kind of money to really be spending. And some of us, I see have been upset with the fact that we haven't made any big moves. And I think there's a consensus that we have the ability to make certain moves, and I think some of us don't understand why we're not. And I'm here to tell you the reason we're not making any moves is we're no longer the kind of players that play in the front end of free agency. We're now the kind that play in the back end. The best time where I think you'll see this team make some moves is after the draft, kind of training. You're going to see some training camp cuts that maybe they take advantage of, but really late in free agency, like right before preseason kind of deal, where you're going to probably see a pickup here and there. Camp bodies and stuff like that. So don't get your hopes up. I think their focus is on the draft and whatever supplemental pieces they can put in right now. Like, for instance, the biggest name that we got was Calais Campbell was in the building, I believe, a week or so ago, right? And I'm hyped for it. I'm definitely all for it. And I don't want to throw, too much water on it, but unfortunately, guys, again, we don't have money. And as much as I'd love to see Calais here, I don't know if we're going to be able to offer what he'd be looking for, especially when you're considering that he's oddly, I want to say that he's looking for a contender, right? But technically we're a contender. But what I mean by that is, I believe he was visiting like the Bills and the Jets. And the Jets are talking to Aaron Rodgers, and a lot of people think if they get him in the building, that they're going to be Super Bowl favorites. So that's where we're at with that. Unless for some reason they don't sign him, I can't really see him in Duval or choosing Duval over the Bills and the Jets. I will say this one thing: the Bills don't have a lot of money. They almost let Jordan Poyer walk. They lost Tremaine Edmonds. That was the cap situation in Buffalo. Now I haven't looked at it to see where exactly they're at, but I question again how much they have to spend. And when you're talking about, okay, will you take a few dollars shorter to play in Buffalo? He might, but how much shorter? And we might be able to offer more than Buffalo, but can we offer more than the Jets? Well, it all depends on if they get Aaron Rodgers in the building, right? So that's kind of where that whole thing plays out. And I think Calais Campbell, it would bode well for him to try to get signed before the draft, because once that happens and people and players got, they drafted this lineman, that lineman, the pool of teams that are going to be available to you are going to be that much smaller. So the closer we get to the draft, the more likely it is we'll get Calais. The longer it takes, though, since the meeting, I don't feel great about it. But I will say this: Calais Campbell was one of our best free agent signings ever, if not ever. He's exactly what we're missing now. When he was here, he got 17 sacks and he led the Saxonville contingent. And now we're a little bit different defense now, right? So, because then we were in that Seattle cover 3 scheme. Now we're in the 3-4 scheme, an attacking 3-4 scheme. And I think he'd do wonders for a guy like Trayvon Walker, because while we want Trayvon Walker to be this big outside pass rusher, right? Who better to teach him pass rush moves than a Calais Campbell? Because Calais Campbell can do it all. He's not the fastest guy. He knows how to use his hands. He knows how to use his size. Who's another big, strong guy? Trayvon Walker. Josh Allen had his best year next to a Calais Campbell. I think he's the kind of guy that not only can mentor, but he's going to be able to provide the kind of push on the interior that we've been missing. Not only that, but if it doesn't work if we decide, you know what, Trayvon, it's just not working on the outside, we're going to put you on the inside. again, who better to mentor him on how to do that than Calais Campbell? Some of us were upset that we lost Arden Key, and I do miss that attitude he brought. I do think he helped bring an attitude, but he wasn't that dude. I've never understood the you love attitude guys, right? But his play, and don't get me wrong, he played well while here for him. But he's not a 12 sack guy. He's not a guy that you want, to rely on like that. And this was an argument I had last year with a bunch of Jaguar fans when I said I didn't understand the Arden Key signing to begin with, because we knew we were drafting a pass rusher, be it Travon Walker, Aiden Hutchinson, and we already had Josh Allen, and we already invested a first round pick in Caleb Bunchayson, who is just basically a clone of Arden Key, in my opinion. And I know a lot of us are down to Caleb Bunchayson, as am I. But when you already have young pass rushers in the building, there was a guy hanging out there by the name of Justin Houston that I thought would have fit perfectly in this particular scenario. And he only went on and had, I'm not sure if he had 10 sacks, but he was very productive. He had at least 8 sacks. And I thought, what better guy than Justin Houston, who can still produce and knows how to pass rush. He was a premier pass rusher in this league. He had a 20 sack season. He knows what he's doing. That was exactly what we needed in the building. But you know what? We'll see where we go. There's not a lot to talk about. No big signings. We're gearing up for the draft, and I'm doing some studying. So I'm going to be, talking to you guys about who I like and what we're going to, what do you guys think? I'll give you my ideas. You guys send me some back. If you want me to take a look at a guy, I'll let you know how I think, what I think of him, and see where we go from there. But again, free agency, we're probably not going to dip into that till after the draft, guys. So got to keep calm and go Jags. Remember to like, subscribe, and share, y'all. Peace.